good team. You know, great training camp, smart minds, smart people, good motivation for AJ, and ready for a big...
Breaking. Anthony Joshua has just dropped Oleksandr Usyk in their sparring session, and everyone is shocked. Not many people can put Usyk on the floor, and Anthony Joshua doing it shows how powerful and sharp he is right now. That is why every boxing expert is warning Jake Paul to think carefully.
Is Joshua training with the Usyk camp now?
Yeah, he's training with the Usyk camp.
If he's training with the Usyk camp and there's a marked improvement on his performance, he can quite easily clean up again.
Listen, what I'm saying is...
Duke McKenzie is genuinely worried for Jake Paul and says most people feel the same. He warns that if Jake Paul steps in against Anthony Joshua, it is not going to end well. The experts clearly see Anthony Joshua on another level, and Jake Paul has no answer.
I don't know, you know, I genuinely fear, like most people do, for Jake Paul, because if he fights Anthony Joshua, it's not going to end well.
Anthony Joshua is explaining how sparring with Usyk goes back and forth, trading hits, but always learning. You can see his sharp mind analyzing every move and adjusting. He even points out the little moments where he hits back, showing his skill and timing. Anthony Joshua is in complete control.
Hit a few times, he gets hit a few times, he gets hit more, gets hit a bit more.
Johnny Nelson is warning that Jake Paul might be overconfident, believing too much in his own hype. Boxing is brutal, and there are no shortcuts. Anthony Joshua is a real fighter who plays the sport for mastery, not show. Jake Paul is about to learn the hard way that he cannot play with someone like Anthony Joshua.
For Jake Paul, maybe he's the guy that all of a sudden believes in all his own hype. So, and boxing is the only sport you can't play at, because you play at that, you get knocked out.
John Fury is making it very clear that Anthony Joshua is in a completely different league. He suggests that any other outcome against Jake Paul would be shocking. Anthony Joshua has the power, skill, and experience to dominate completely, and the world knows it. Jake Paul has no chance unless something unbelievable happens.
Work. They can't. Anthony Joshua could knock Jake Paul out with his dick. So if it goes any other way, you know.
Eddie Hearn is highlighting how Anthony Joshua improves every day by living in the gym and training with top sparring partners. The quality of his training makes a massive difference. Anthony Joshua knows that success comes from effort and discipline. Jake Paul cannot match this kind of preparation or experience in the ring.
In camp, living in camp, training with him day in, day out. And it made a big difference in the fight. So I think he knows that the way that he's going to improve is time in the gym and also the quality.
Logan Paul is describing Anthony Joshua as nearly perfect, a former heavyweight champion who has defeated the best. His physical presence and skill make him a complete fighter. Anthony Joshua looks like a true gladiator, and every strike and movement in the ring shows why Jake Paul should be extremely cautious.
Joshua's a former heavyweight champion who's knocked out heavyweight champions.
Has he ever tried like Ozempic or Manjaro?
This is a guy who is already perfect.
Okay.
He's perfect.
Okay.
He's like, if you could sculpt like a perfect gladiator human being, it's Anthony.
Derek Chisora is explaining that sparring is about learning and adjusting. When Anthony Joshua knocks someone down in sparring, that fighter understands what they did wrong. It shows Anthony Joshua's intelligence and control. Every movement is calculated, and he teaches his opponents lessons in the ring. Jake Paul will not have that level of awareness.
It's totally different. Sparring, you're there to learn. So the guy you knocked out in sparring, he's understand, okay, I did this silly move, that's how I got knocked out. So I'm gonna have to stop doing these silly moves so I don't get knocked out.
Duke McKenzie is warning that Jake Paul is in serious danger against Anthony Joshua. Everyone who understands boxing sees the risk. Anthony Joshua's power and experience make him a huge threat. Jake Paul is stepping into a fight that could end badly if he underestimates the level of skill Anthony Joshua brings to the ring.
Jake Paul is in danger, serious danger. I know you've heard it all before, but I could just reiterate what everybody else is saying. He's in serious danger of being seriously.
Frank Warren is surprised to hear that Oleksandr Usyk was dropped in sparring, and it shows just how seriously Anthony Joshua is performing. Dropping a fighter of Usyk's caliber is not easy. This is evidence that Anthony Joshua is operating on another level, a level that Jake Paul has never faced before. Every pro in the boxing world is watching and realizing the immense danger Jake Paul would be in against a man like Anthony Joshua, who can dominate even the very best in the sport.
But people get dropped in sparring, but generally is news to me. I've not heard that before.
Lawrence Okoli explains how Anthony Joshua's speed and athleticism make him incredibly dangerous in sparring. His movement, timing, and precision allow him to control every exchange. When a fighter of Joshua's size combines skill with athleticism, it becomes almost impossible to compete. Jake Paul is unprepared for this level of speed and intelligence in the ring. Anthony Joshua is not just powerful, he is smart and fast, and he can exploit every small mistake, proving that anyone stepping in against him is facing a truly elite and fully prepared opponent.
Bigger head guards, bigger gloves, so stuff like speed and like athleticism plays more of a factor because
Joe Rogan is pointing out that Anthony Joshua is a one-punch knockout artist who can end fights in a blink of an eye. He has proven this against top opponents like Francis Ngannou. Anthony Joshua has the power and experience to make any fighter pay for mistakes. Jake Paul stepping into the ring with Anthony Joshua is a risky proposition because Joshua can make an example out of him, and the danger is very real. This is not a fight anyone underestimates, and it confirms Joshua's lethal reputation in the heavyweight division.
Yeah.
Because Joshua's going to try to make an example out of him, for sure.
And will.
I mean, Anthony Joshua is one of the biggest one-punch KO artists. What he did to Francis Ngannou, good lord.
Yes.
Do you want that?
Lawrence Okoli explains that getting dropped in sparring is part of learning, but with Anthony Joshua, it shows the challenge is on another level. Even the best fighters are tested and must adapt. Anthony Joshua is a heavy, precise, and intelligent boxer who can punish mistakes quickly. Jake Paul has never faced this type of threat, and underestimating Anthony Joshua's ability to control a fight would be dangerous. Every drop in sparring is a warning of Joshua's power and skill, and it is clear that he is preparing at an elite level that few in the division can match.
It wouldn't affect what I think of the fight. Getting dropped, once again, it's not the end of the world. People get dropped in fights and still win them. Getting dropped in sparring, it is what it is. I mean, you just got to be able to dust off and kind of keep going.
Tony Bellew is making it very clear that Anthony Joshua's control in the ring is absolute. If Joshua decides how the fight goes, it will end on his terms. He has the power, skill, and experience to dictate the pace and outcome completely. Jake Paul, stepping into a ring with Anthony Joshua, is facing a man who can end things whenever he wants. Joshua's presence and ability to manage fights shows why the experts are so concerned and why Jake Paul is in serious danger against a man who has dominated heavyweight boxing for years.
Joshua puts 10-ounce gloves on and gets in a boxing ring and Jake Paul is in the other corner. This won't last long. This will last as long as Josh wants it to last.
Johnny Nelson is highlighting that Anthony Joshua's size and skill give him an overwhelming advantage over Jake Paul. The expectation is entirely on Joshua to dominate and show why he is a two-time world champion and Olympic gold medalist. Every movement, punch, and decision in the ring will be a display of control and power. Jake Paul is stepping into a fight where Anthony Joshua can dictate everything, from the pace to the outcome. There is no room for error and no way to match Joshua's strength and experience. Experts agree that Joshua has every tool to end this fight decisively and leave no doubt in anyone's mind.
Joshua's bigger than Jake Paul in our world. So there'll be more of a judgment on Anthony Joshua than there will be on Jake Paul, because Anthony Joshua is expected to get this boy blasted out of there.
Derek Chisora is stressing that Anthony Joshua has the power and speed to finish Jake Paul quickly, just like he did with Francis Ngannou. Joshua has proven he can dominate fights early and punish mistakes instantly. Chisora sees Joshua as a man who can control the ring completely and decide when a fight ends. Jake Paul does not have the experience or power to compete at this level. Anthony Joshua can finish the fight in a few rounds if he chooses, and every expert watching knows that he will dictate exactly how this battle unfolds with precision and authority.
Oh, no, I don't back Jack Paul. That means, what is it you're doing? He has to smoke him in 3 rounds. The same way he did Ngannou. How many rounds was Ngannou?
2, second round.
Exactly. So he has to smoke him fucking 2 rounds.
Frank Warren is making it clear that Anthony Joshua is a massive favorite because he is a natural heavyweight with a record of achievements that few can match. His Olympic gold, multiple world titles, and knockout power make him extremely dangerous. Jake Paul has limited experience and lacks the foundational skills needed to survive against a fighter of Joshua's caliber. Anthony Joshua can punch, move, and control a fight with the ease of a champion. Every expert watching knows that Paul is in serious trouble if he underestimates Joshua. The contrast in experience and skill could not be more obvious or dangerous for Jake Paul.
AJ's a massive, massive favourite. He's a natural heavyweight, 2-time world champion, Olympic gold medalist. We all seen him. He can punch, he can bang. You see what he's done to Ngannou. Jake Paul, I don't think he's had amateur experience. He's had 12 fights, I think, as a...
Michael Bisping is pointing out that Anthony Joshua is ready to prove his critics wrong and show his dominance once again. Everyone expects him to win against Jake Paul, but Joshua has the power, skill, and mindset to make a statement that cannot be ignored. Even if some people downplay the result, Anthony Joshua will demonstrate why he is a true champion. Jake Paul stepping into the ring with Joshua is entering a fight where he cannot afford mistakes. Anthony Joshua's experience, speed, and power give him complete control and the ability to show the world why he is one of the best heavyweights today.
He was man enough. He was willing to test himself. He would prove everyone wrong, all his critics, like me. By the way, I'm not like out there on an island by myself. Everyone says the same thing, and he would potentially prove all of those critics wrong. Well, yeah, he would, maybe, unless there's some funny business, right? And for Anthony Joshua, as I said, this is kind of a lose-lose, right? Because if he wins, people are still going to say, well, you only beat Jake Paul, right? The man that lost to Tommy Fury, after all, right? That's the only loss in his record, Tommy Fury. You're telling me that Tommy Fury is going to beat him and then Anthony Joshua's not going to beat him? So if he beats him, he gets no credit. And if he loses, then holy can you imagine? That would be the biggest downfall of any boxer's career.
Anthony Joshua has shown in sparring that he is on another level, dropping Oleksandr Usyk and leaving the boxing world in complete shock. His power, precision, and speed make him a terrifying force for anyone stepping into the ring, especially Jake Paul, who has never faced this caliber of fighter. Every expert from Duke McKenzie to Michael Bisping has warned that Paul is in serious danger, and Anthony Joshua's experience and championship pedigree give him complete control. Joshua's ability to dominate early, finish fights quickly, and punish mistakes shows why he remains one of the most feared heavyweights today. Jake Paul's hype cannot match the skill, intelligence, and raw power that Anthony Joshua brings. The fight is not just about strength, but about strategy, preparation, and the mental edge that Joshua clearly possesses. Are you backing Anthony Joshua to steamroll Jake Paul, or do you think Paul can shock the world with an upset? Drop your thoughts below.